This is the Herd Line News.
Well, hits keep coming for Team USA. Bradley Beal was placed in health and safety protocols this week and has now been ruled out for the Olympics. Jeremy Grant is also going through protocols, but Greg Popovich is optimistic he'll be able to return to the team. And then today, Kevin Love decided to withdraw from Team USA, so he will not be going to Tokyo.
Is that an injury too, Kevin Love?
Well, yes, he came to this decision because he's returning from the calf injury, and he doesn't feel like he's at peak performance yet.
All right, I get that.
So he will not be going. So they now have to replace Kevin Love and Bradley Beal.
John Morant.
I would love to see John Morant on Team USA. I think John Morant is probably in good shape as well, which seems to be a big issue for Team USA. Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton are obviously still playing in the finals, so they're not with the team yet. So they currently have 6 players: Bam, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Zach LaVine, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum. They also had to cancel their exhibition game against Australia tonight because of health and safety concerns. And Team Australia has a higher level of rules and protocols for COVID than Team USA has. So Team USA is in Vegas right now, but they're not under the, bubble-like scenario. They're allowed to have their family there because no families are traveling to Tokyo. They're allowed to move freely throughout the hotel.
Right.
I don't know everybody's vaccination status, but it's coming down to the wire for getting the team together, getting them conditioned and ready to play in Tokyo. And now they have 2 very important pieces out. Every piece is important, but it's Bradley Beal and Kevin Love out, and they now have to replace them, on top of not having Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and Chris Middleton there with the team. So a lot going on for Team USA and a lot to figure out in the next couple of days. Woj tweeted that Spurs forward Keldon Johnson is gaining a lot of support because he plays as a member of the USA Select Group, and he's apparently well-conditioned. So everyone is pushing for him to join the team, but we'll see who they select to replace Kevin Love and Bradley Beal. So Urban Meyer is getting his first taste of coaching at the NFL level with the Jags, and he's still trying to navigate through all those changes from college football. And Jimmy Johnson, who made a very successful leap from college to the pros, said Urban is having a hard time adjusting, and there's one major difference between the two.
He's a little frustrated right now because he spent so little time with the players. He's accustomed to being around the players all the time, and they weren't able to do that because COVID-19 and the situation.
COVID definitely played a significant role in this. They were fined recently for violating some of the off-season protocols.
Right.
Not related to COVID, but just contact rules, because you can't have players there. It's not the same as college.
Well, listen, this has been, Pete Carroll was a college guy. He went to the NFL, and he has been fined multiple times because of illegal practices. Yeah. Why? Because in college, Pete could control his environment. In the NFL, you can't. Jim Harbaugh, college guy, NFL. Why did he struggle in the NFL? He struggled with his GM, Trent Baalke, because he wanted players and Trent Baalke wouldn't give him control. Nick Saban couldn't get Drew Brees to pass his physical in Miami. He said, hell with this, I'm going to go to college. When you look at college guys who have had great success, it's the control thing.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh struggled with not controlling the personnel. Pete Carroll struggled with not having enough practices. He's been fined multiple times. Nick Saban struggled with the medical staff not giving him what he wanted, the okay for Drew Brees. So this is a very real thing, and I think you and I have said this before. We don't doubt that Urban can coach or knows personnel. That's not it. He's going to have – they had a very good draft. They're going to be fine in the drafting thing, and he's a super smart guy. It's a psychology. You can't control the players. You can't control practice. You don't have an AD you can run over. You're going to have multiple players over time making more than you.
Yeah.
And these are grown men. So this is the struggle that we kind of predicted.
Well – yeah, because in college, you can have practices that aren't mandatory, but you better be there. They're not mandatory. The NCAA has regulations on that too, but you're going to be there in college. If it's non-mandatory practices or camps in the pros, you don't have to go and you're not going. And these are professionals, so they can argue Coach, I ain't going to be there, but I'm going to be working out all week. I'm just not, I'm on vacation with my family. It's off season. I'm chilling here with my kids. I'm going to work out here. The team trainer has sent me the workout. I'm doing that here with my trainer. I'll see you at training camp.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do. Yeah. And you can't even get mad because he's going to get mad. I'm going to be in better shape than whatever practice you're going to put me through.
That's right.
So it's a whole difference what it is a different business. It's the same sport, but it's a different business. And the level of college kids, learning how to, become adults and dealing with, girlfriends and like all these different things as you're growing up to then becoming a professional. Well, you don't have to ask permission to do things. Like, this is my job. This is how this works. You have this role and I have this role. And it's not even necessarily the money thing. You're an adult.
Yeah, it's not the money thing.
You have to speak to people differently. They have children, they have wives, they have mortgages. It's a different world. So the Cowboys finally signed Dak to a long-term extension earlier this offseason. It took over 2 years to get the deal done. It felt like we talked about it for about 15.
Yeah.
And Stephen Jones was asked about his biggest regret as an executive in Dallas, and he admitted he made a mistake waiting so long to lock Dak in. He said probably would have signed Dak the first time around. It would have been better for everybody.
Well, it's hard. The Rams signed Jared Goff, and they regretted it. They signed him early. And the Eagles signed Wentz early, and they ended up regretting it. Kansas City signs Mahomes, and they're happy they did it. This is not always as easy as it sounds. Like, yes, you get a better deal as a team signing early, but you could do a Rams thing where, like, a year into it, you're like, oh, God.
But I don't know. I think it's a risk, but they got out of it. Like, Jared Goff is not there anymore.
No, but they had to give up 2 more first-round picks, so you
sure, but I mean, that's the risk you take. So you either risk that or you risk a situation like this. Like, there's a cost benefit to every decision. I think in this situation, not unlike Carson Wentz, but maybe you could argue with the Goff contract. But I think with Dak, it was very obvious they weren't going to move off of him. Like, Dak was going to be there. He felt like the future of Dallas.
Well,
so what was it exactly that you were waiting for?
The one thing where I think Dallas made a big mistake is that the Zeke deal, Zeke had 2 years left, and they signed the running back early, which I would never do, 2 years early, and didn't sign Dak early. So, to me, if you'd assigned Dak and not Zeke and made Dak, whose personality is more about, it's more of a guy, I can literally...
And he's the quarterback.
Right. So, to me, the bigger mistake was signing Zeke 2 years early. He's never been the same player. And the messaging was, Zeke's the star of the franchise.
Yeah.
He doesn't, first of all, running backs can't be. Secondly, I don't think Zeke's personality is star of the franchise. I think Dak's personality is perfect for star of the franchise. He's a grown-up, the intangibles, he's a leader. I mean, that's what even Dan Mullen says at Florida or at Mississippi State. I didn't love him as a thrower, but God, I loved him as the face of my college football team.
Yeah, I agree. That was probably the bigger mistake, signing Zeke first.
All right, good stuff today on a Friday. A lot of energy here. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.